persons for there to be communication. So now the question is, many people have been asking me when I do trainings, the question they ask is, for there to be communication, must there be a response from the other person? For example, if you send an information, hello, we'll be having a meeting today, we'll be having an online training today, we'd like you to attend. If that person does not respond to that communication or to that message or that information, can it be termed communication? This is the question many people like to know, because there is a saying, there's a society saying that for there to be communication, there must be response, there must be uh, sending of information response. And this is something that I face, or this is a question I face from an enamsed who argued them that communication can only be complete when there is a response. And I told him that no, that lie. I'm not talking to you people as just a student, or I'm talking as an authority. And as an authority, I'm telling you that communication suffices when there is transmission information to receives it, it's okay. Even if the person does not respond, it is still communication. It means you have communicated. So the people want communication, must it be complete by a response before we person does not respond, like we have WhatsApp today. Once you see communicated, to that, for it to be classified as communication, will delve us to a form of communication which we call dialogue. It is in dialogue where it's necessary for two parties to exchange information. One person sends, the other person responds. That is a dialogue, and it is a form of communication. But communication generally has to do with simply transmitting information from one person to another. It could be more. Once that is done, you have communicated. Now, there are various types of communication. I'll limit myself to three. We has to do of information through word of mouth. We call it the spoken word. When you are talking, when you are expressing, as I'm talking today, I'm talking to you all, what I'm doing is what we call verbal expression, formation through words portraying from the mouth. In other words, spoken word. That is verbal communication. Now, written communication has to do with the transmission of data, the transmission of information from one person to another through writing. Through writing. So that is right here the hand to describe some words on paper or through electronic devices as we have today, where people write on WhatsApp, that is through electronic device. So we have evolved from the traditional form of writing, which entails writing on paper. Now we now have electronic version of writing. So that definition of written communication has received some sort of expansion or evolution from rather written communication is the expression of ideas through the hand and on paper. But now we have electronic version. Another important part of communication or form of communication is called non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is communication that is done or is a transmission of information or data through gestures, through gestures, body language, facial expression, quotes, signs, pictures, and the others. So once you transmit information through body language, through signs, through a code, it's called non-verbal communication. It means that you do not talk and you do not write, but you are still communicating. You do not talk, but you do not write, but you are still communicating. For example, if I make my hand like this, is everyone watching me? Is
Yes.
if I make my hand, yeah, if I make my hand like this, I'm saying bye bye, but I haven't communicated. You know that the information I'm transmitting to you is that bye bye. When you are communicating, you're doing a presentation, and I make my hand like this. What's the information I'm passing across? What is the implication?
Good.
Good. Voila. But I haven't said a word, neither did you get that impression through writing. No, you didn't read me saying good. You didn't hear me voicing out a word good. But just from my gesture, just from my body language, you got the information that I'm telling you that good. So it is very important to know non-verbal communication because non-verbal communication complements your verbal communication. Whenever you're talking, you should know that their communication can be complete, it can be distorted if your non-communication is opposite. Sometimes people speak and at the end of the day, they confuse their audience because their non-verbal communication does not match, does not complement their verbal communication. So when you are speaking, when you are talking, let's say you're telling a very sad story. Oh, Amanda was shot, a lady that has been helping the society, and she was shot on the leg, and she could not. Now you're telling a sad story and you are smiling. When you're telling a sad story and you're smiling, then you are simply what? Conflicting your verbal communication and your non-verbal communication. So you will be confusing your audience. What? Because the mode is a of every story, and a mode that as a speaker you ought to wear when telling a sad story is the mode of being sad. Now, if you are smiling, you are simply telling the speakers or the audience that you are happy with the story. You are happy that that thing happened. But that is a sad story. So there, I could go on and on to give you examples of non-verbal communication, which are illustrated through facial expression, your body language. Now, non-verbal communication again, when you meet somebody and you give them a handshake, a serious handshake, that implies a message, even though you haven't said a word. If you give someone a handshake, that can imply the confidence that you are confident, you hope on the person, you trust that person. That is an implication from that handshake, but you haven't said a word and you have not written any word. That the person who understands communication will simply draw an information from that salutation. I don't know if you are getting it. Are we all
Very
getting
well.
it? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Now, so those are the three layers. Those are the three most important parts or most important types of communication. We also have aesthetic communication through drawings, through pictures, and so on and so forth. But we have three standard classification of communication, which is verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and written communication. Now, after knowing the types of communication, the next thing you want to know is how to communicate. How do you, or what is the importance of communication? What is the importance of communication? First, as leaders, I believe everyone here is either an already made leader or an aspiring leader. So, what is the essence of communication? What is the role of communication in leadership? Before I get to the role of communication in leadership, the first thing I'd like to let you know, which may be strange to your ears, is that I always tell people when I train people, I always tell them that there is a difference between talking and saying. There is a difference between talking and saying. As leaders, we have to start learning how to say. Our communication must be sound. So let's come back to difference between talking and saying. What do we mean by talk, saying? What are the differences between talking and saying? Let me get there. Talking has to do with an expression of words in a haphazard manner, a disorganized expression, protrusion of words, which means you're just throwing words. You're just throwing what as they come, you're just throwing. And some of these talking usually happens in local settings, in our neighborhoods, in bars, in the quartier, in the street, in football fields, where people express high amount of what? Grandiloquency, unnecessary grandiloquency, and loquaciousness. It means when someone is protruding high amount of words that are not well arranged, that are disorganized. You are just talking. An example of talking, a typical example of talking is quarreling in a neighborhood. When you hear neighbors quarreling, they say, "Hi, man. Oh, da, 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 da. You are a prostitute. Oh, you are this, da, da, da. You slept with my husband. Oh, you did this. You did that. Da, 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 da. You cannot even bring up your children in a good way." They just unleash what at that time. Any word that appears in the person's mind, they will unleash it. It's disorganized form of communication, and they want to win the quarreling. They just want to suppress the other person. So any type of any word that comes in their mind, they unleash. Are just talking. In the bars, when you hear people arguing about millions, Ronaldo has been paid millions. We have paid Ronaldo 200 million to sign him in Real Madrid. We have paid this, that, that. These people are just talking. Yeah, you see people, and now when we say talking, when we call it talking, because you're just expressing words that are disorganized, one, words that are not truthful. For example, you see someone in Cameroon who is unable to have 3 square meals a day, saying that they have bought Ronaldo for $200 million. One, that information is not true, because that person did not participate in the purchase of Ronaldo. The thing just came to his mind, and he just had to throw it in the bar, because maybe he wants to prove to the people that he's a fanatic. Yeah, he's a fan of Ronaldo or Real Madrid. Yeah. So we've heard, I could go on and on, so that we don't have much time. I could go on and on to give you some of these talking, portraying of word, expression of words in our local setting. So talking is done in local setting, in jangi houses. Una know me for year, una know wabi, all those things. Yeah, you see, and at times you are forced, you're tempted to go beyond your capacity when you're talking, because you want to prove a point. So any words that comes in your mind for you to support a particular standing, you portray it. You don't know, you don't care to verify intrinsically if the information is actually true, valid or not. You just want to win. Now, that is talking. Now let's go to saying. What do we mean by saying? Saying is a total opposite of talking, which means it's a system of words that are well structured, words that are well organized, words that are valuable to the ear. Excuse me. Open now, you have okay. So that is what we mean by saying expression of words that are well organized, words that are well structured. In other words, expression of ideas. So when you are expressing your ideas, because ideas are a combination of words that are well organized. So when you organize words to form phrases, to form sentences, and you unleash them, it becomes an idea. It becomes an information. So when we say someone is a sayer, it means that each time the person opens their mouth or his or her mouth, the person unleash a vital information. The person unleash an information that is well organized, an information that is sound to the brain, an information that can be acceptable, an information that can be used for promotion, that can be used for elevation. That is what we mean by saying. So, saying is simply the expression of words that have been structured and well organized. Now, where does saying take place? Saying is done only in classic environment. One, in seminars, conferences, in schools, maybe in a class, in board meetings. That is where saying is done. Are you okay? Okay, so saying is done only in what formal settings. So yeah, we can stratify talking and saying into informal communication and formal communication. So talking is informal communication where people just express words anyhow. They don't care they don't care about the magnitude, the effect, or the consequences of those words. The words are disorganized, but in saying, which is a formal communication, words are well organized, they are well structured, and they carry validity, which means before you portray, before you express that word, before you express the word, you must have done an intrinsic thinking. This word that I want to unleash, this information that I want to unleash, is it true? Is it valid? Is it helpful? Will it be helpful? Will it be encouraging to someone? And so on and so forth. Is it well organized? Then you unleash it. Now, I always tell people that saying is very difficult as compared to talking. And for you to have promotion, I have this saying in my book. The quotation is, when your communication is sound, your promotion is bound. Please close me that door. When your communication is sound, your promotion is bound. Please note it down. Let me explain. It means that when your communication is sound, your promotion is bound.
So your promotion is what?
When your communication is sound, your
Mm-hmm.
promotion is bound.
Okay.
Which if you learn sound communication is saying, is the ability to speak, is ability to unleash words, phrases that are well organized, that are well structured. Now, when you learn sound communication, which we'll learn today, or which we'll learn throughout this session, you will definitely attract promotion. Now, how do you attract promotion? I started by saying that talking is informal, while saying is formal. Now, how is saying formal? It's formal in the sense that saying is done only in classic settings, in seminars, in conferences, in board meetings, in classrooms, and so on and so forth. Now, I said again that saying is very difficult, which is sound communication. It's very difficult. Why? Because it is formal. And how is it difficult? Because it requires a particular language, which is the official language. Are you getting me? Yes. While informal has the informal language, pidgin. That's what we use in Kate. That's what we use in bars. That's what we use to quarrel in our neighborhood. Have you ever seen people? It's rare to find people quarreling in English, using English language. It's always pidgin. You try me so you will see something. Now, if you just come closer to them and tell them, please, can you change the language and put it to English, you discover that their tone will reduce. The rate at which they were talking, it will reduce. You know why? It's difficult to speak formally. Are you getting me? It's difficult to express yourself formally because formal communication that is seen is done only in formal settings. So you cannot take someone who is used to communicating in informal setting, that is in the neighborhood, in the bar, and you want him to use formal communication in an informal setting. It will not work. You get it? That is why you will discover a slow pace, a natural slow and automatic slow pace. Immediately you tell those your neighbors that are quarreling, or those that are arguing in the bar, how they paid Ronaldo this and so on. If you just tell them to change that, change the language and put it in English, you discover that most of them will be quiet. They will not talk again. It's to tell you that formal communication is difficult. Saying is difficult. Now, let me come back again. Let me go detailing. How is it difficult? One, the setting. The setting is well confined. The setting is well confined. One. Two, the people involved in such settings are mostly intellectuals. The setting is well confined. The people involved in such settings are mostly intellectuals. So, at that juncture, when you are in a seminar, you don't talk anyhow because immediately you want to talk. The first thing your mind will travel to is judgment. They will judge you. They will judge your grammatical as yes, I really want to say, I really have this answer, but will these people not judge my grammar? Will these people not judge my idea? And so on and so forth. Yeah, those are the things that you would think about before even raising your finger. But in informal setting, there is nobody that will judge your pidgin language. Nobody will weigh your information. If you just throw it, nobody will judge you. You see, that's why it's difficult to say in seminars,
Exactly.
even in class. Even in class, the lecturer will ask, does anyone has something to say? There, you see, the whole class is quiet. I can bet you that is not because they don't have something to say. They do, but saying is difficult. It has a format, it has a structure. You understand? How can you have there is something that is pushing you to say so, but you are afraid because the structuralization, you are afraid if you will structure those words to form an idea that will be appealing to the lecturer. You are afraid if you form an idea that will be appealing to the classmate. We did not even laugh at your grammar. And so we did not laugh at your tenses and so on and so forth. So that fear makes people not to what express themselves in formal settings. That's why I say it's difficult what to say because it's present by what or doing saying is done in formal settings which habitate or which always have intellectuals. Now, the good news is the good news is those who will decide design themselves to always say in formal settings will get promotion. Will get what? Promotion. Because saying is rare. And anything that you do which is rare will make you outstanding, will distinguish you. And distinction leads to attraction. If you can do something that is rare, then people will definitely attract themselves to you. People are tired of hearing others talk. They want people to say something that can change their life. They want people to say something that can elevate them. So if you design yourself to be a sayer and not a talker, especially in seminars, in conferences, in board meetings, you will be distinguished. And distinction is tantamount to promotion. Distinction is tantamount to elevation. That's why I have to, this is our quotation on. This is a quotation that we run throughout this training. I think for my own lessons. When your communication is sound, your promotion is bound. When you learn sound communication, when you learn how to frame words, when you learn how to frame master phrases, which will be different from others. When people are silent, you decide to say something. You cause distinction. When everyone is shy, when everyone is afraid to say something, and you raise your hand and say, "Hello, Mr. Employer, I have this to say," you will be distinguished. Now, I've been talking a lot, or I've been saying a lot. Let me give you some examples because I tell people that what differentiates me or my lessons from others is because I don't teach on downloaded notes from Google. In my domain of communication, I don't teach from downloaded notes from Google. I teach from my experience. So I'll give you my experience. When I tell you that when your communication is sound, your promotion is bound, this is what I mean. I was called in a company. I was called by a company staff, and when they called me, they said they wanted us to be. They called me. They said I should bring 5 other persons. When I brought those
Mm-hmm.
people, they said they wanted us to be commission agents of the company. Commission agent. Now, when we started as commission agent, which means we go out, we make prospect, bring clients, and when they register, we have our commission. Now, the company started organizing staff meetings, and during their staff meetings, they invite some of us, the commission, they invite all the commission agents. And during the staff meeting, they always ask questions. What can we do to stay in Cameroon? Everyone was silent. And I raised my finger and I said, "Sir, I think we could do this, we could do this, we could do this." They said, "Okay, fine." Another board meeting or staff meeting. Yeah, board meeting. They asked again, "What can we do to expand this company in Yaoundé?" I raised my finger again. 1 month after, no less, 2 months after I worked there as a commission agent, the company launched the company launched an employment for branch manager. They created an office in Douala and they needed a branch manager. To be whole, I did not apply. One, because I felt I was too young. So I did not apply because I felt I was too young for the position of a branch manager. Besides, I'm a newcomer. I cannot just come to a company. I'm not made up to 4 months. I'm already eyeing the position of a branch manager. Is that not witchcraft? Is big hat now? They call it big hat. Huge. When when day I wasn't qualified, but I was one feeling that it was too big hard for me to be eyeing, and secondly, I felt I was small. So 2 weeks after the application deadline, they called me. The company's manager, they called the company's president, called me. He said, "Max, we launched an application for branch manager, and we have gone through the files. We haven't seen your application. Why?" I said, "Sir, it's simple because I didn't apply." And they said, "Why didn't you apply?" I gave my reason, the same reason I'm giving you. Well, I felt that I'm too small, sir, and I'm just a newcomer in the company. That's all. The job they called. 3 days after, they called me for a meeting. When I went to that meeting, they said, "Mr. Max Abaiko, you have been appointed our branch manager." I said, "But how? I didn't apply for this job. I didn't apply for it." They said, "No, we are not calling you because of application or what. You did not apply. But we are calling you because you have proven to us that you are bold, you can convince. Two, you've proven to us that you are you have the company in mind, because each time we have a board meeting and we ask questions, you are the ones always giving ideas on how to grow the. It means that you have the company in mind, and we cannot employ people who do not have the company in mind. When board meetings, when questions are asked, they are just quiet. So I got it. To cut the long story short, I got the position of a branch manager from a commission agent to a branch manager. It means I skipped assistant secretary, I skipped secretary, I skipped assistant marketing director, I skipped marketing director, I skipped assistant branch manager, and I went directly to branch manager. That is why I'm telling you that when your communication
Wow.
is sound, your promotion is bound. All you need to do is to learn some communication, is to learn to speak when it's necessary, is to learn to speak when it matters. Okay, don't waste your words in neighborhoods quarreling people. No, me, when a neighbor has maybe done something that is not correct, I will just go. I will not waste my will not waste my. I speak only when it is necessary. I speak only when I want to attract attention. I speak only when I want to attract promotion. I speak only when sound minds are available, because it's you can get promotion only in formal settings. Yes. So do not be silent in formal settings. In conferences, that is where you have to show yourself. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So you can go to a board meeting and you leave without saying something. You can go to a seminar and you leave without saying something. You cannot be in a classroom, you leave without saying something. It doesn't work well. Yeah. You should not be silent. So this is it. Take it, please. Whenever you are in a board meeting or you are in a formal setting, board meeting, seminars, conferences, whatever, take this as a rule, as something you ought to apply. Whenever you are in a formal setting, do not leave without doing these three things, or either of these three things. I repeat, do not live without doing either of these three things. One, ask a question. Do not live without asking a question. Two, do not live without responding to a question. Three, live without giving a contribution or a suggestion. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is it. Let me expatiate on the three elements. One, do not live without asking. Now, mark you that I said either of the three, which means that you may not be opportune to apply all those three in one setting, but it's possible for you to apply either of the three. So you can go to a board meeting, a seminar where a question is not asked to anybody. So you cannot forcefully respond to a question when there was a question. So there you may want to make a suggestion or a contribution to what somebody said, or maybe to what the lecturer said. Two, you may want to ask a question. Yeah, this one is a bit open because you don't need the lecturer or whoever speaker doesn't need to stare you in order to ask a question. Question comes intrinsically from your doubt or from something, so you can ask a question. Now, if you don't have an answer to a question that was asked, and you don't have a question at all, you can add to what someone says or someone will say. So if someone says something, you can add to it, or you can give a suggestion, perhaps a suggestion on how the seminar should be held next time, and how, yeah, maybe the format, something like that. Now, what is the essence of this? It is simply because all of us, we are looking for what? Identification. We are looking for distinction. When you leave a seminar with a question, when you leave a seminar with an answer to a question, when you leave a seminar with a contribution, with a suggestion, you implant your mark in that seminar. You implant yourself in the minds of everyone who attended that seminar. When they go back, they'll think about you. If it's a speaker, they'll think about you. If it's your employer who organized a board meeting and you said something, you will implant yourself in the minds of your employer. So much so that whenever there is an opportunity, the first person the employer would think of will be you. Yes, I can remember this lady that answered a question. I can remember this lady that answered a question during our board meeting. Please, can anyone remember that lady? Yes, give me her name. That is how people have been promoted, because of what they said during a meeting, because of what they said during a seminar. Yes, do you remember the last seminar? There's one lady that said you got yourself distinguished, you got yourself in a, do not say people complain in a years they have not. It is because when in fact particularly, but does anyone has something to say? No, I understood everything. So that is it. Valuable to the growth of that company. Whenever they ask, does anyone? No, you don't have anything to say. In fact, you are arrow. In fact, to you, when they are talking to, they are wasting your time. You are hearing it should close, and you need promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So they are giving you
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to showcase yourself, give
Mm-hmm.
your ideas. You don't want to use that opportunity, and another person's utilize the opportunity, and you start complaining. That is connection. Because when I got that promotion as a branch manager, many people complained. They said I was too small to be a branch manager. But I did not care. I know that it is man with other elements that got me there. So those are opportunities to seek for elevation. Don't be silent in board meetings. Don't be silent in conferences. Leave your mark by something. If you wear a beautiful dress to go to a seminar, also go with a beautiful brain and a brain that will say something. Okay? Go there with also what? A beautiful brain that will be open to think of that can attract the attention of people to concern. Well, brain well, just your tongue. You will get. Am I communicating?
Loud and clear.
Yes, yes, very well. Right.
Okay. Now that is sound communication. That is the difference between talking and saying. You because promotion is settled at the level of what? Saying. Promotion comes at the level of what? Say. People will learn how to say, will get. Before we go to the last thing, if you have any question at this level, you ask before we get to the last session of this session of today, or to the last item of this session of today. Have you any question that you need clarification before we move forward?
Yes, Mr. Max, I have a question, Mr. Baiko. And first of all, thank you so much.
Right.
Now, let me reserve the thank yous for later. But I noticed that you gave us the difference between talking and saying. And then you carefully matched saying with speaking. So does it mean speaking and saying are the same? Because one would imagine from a layman's perspective that talking and saying are the same thing. Now you've clearly differentiated, you've put a distinction between the two. And then you kept using speaking for saying and saying for speaking. So would they be the same? Would you say they're the same?
Yes, they are the same. When you are speaking,
Okay.
you are saying. You see, speaking, it's a speaks, a public
Mm-hmm.
speaker. It's not for
Okay.
everyone.
Makes
It's not for
sense.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's for specialized people who
Mm-hmm.
are coming to say something. So that term is reserved for them.
Mm-hmm.
Speaker. Yeah, he will be a speaker in this
Oh.
seminar. He will be and so on and so forth. So speaking is reserved
Mm-hmm.
not for everyone. It's
Oh.
just like public speaking.
Okay.
Do public
Makes
speaking
sense.
maybe towards I think the last session. Now this is it. Public speaking, many people, let me just highlight since you asked, many people think that anybody who talks in public is a public speaker. It's reserved only for
Right.
everybody who writes something says he's an author. No, there is a generic definition of authorship, which is owning or you being the owner of a write-up. But there is a specific definition of authorship, which is anybody who has written a book or anybody who is an author. So if you have not yet written a book, you are not an author. But the general understanding of authorship in the society is anybody who writes something. So if you write a message and send to a blog, they say that you are not. Even say, I am of that writing. You get people say that, right? I am an author of that writing. Yeah, that is a general view only to people who make a living out of writing books. Coming to speaking, speaking is made for only people who do official communication. Is given only to people who do what? Official communication. People who spend their time transforming lives through the transmission of information. Now, if they are doing it in journalist is a public speaker, no. Or when someone is addressing the public, the person is a public speaker. No, it's not. The fact that you are addressing the public doesn't mean you are a public speaker. No. A public speaker is someone, or a speaker is someone who is transmitting information that are well classified, information that have been investigated, research, and valid, cause transformation, information that can cause elevation, promotion, and so on and so forth. That is what we call a speaker. Now, someone that is talking is just portraying words. Such words can never transform anybody. Are you getting me? At times, some words are derogatory. They are insultive. They cannot build. They cannot construct. So, such people can transform lives, changing situations, and all the positive things that can come from it. When someone does the reverse, the person cannot be called a speaker because the person is not fulfilling the purpose of speaking. Now, speaking is an official term, is a well-specified term. So, if your own expression is in pidgin, have you ever heard a public speaker who comes and start talking in pidgin till the end? I'm asking you people. Yeah, it is simply because it is an official something. Yeah, so it's an official something. So the language that ought to be used is the official language. That's why it says speaking. While someone that is talking, most talkers using the unofficial language, which is the pidgin language. Not only that, their expressions are not constructive. They cannot elevate anyone. They cannot educate anyone. They cannot transform anyone with their communication. But they are using the unofficial language, which is pidgin. So once that is done, they do not classify it as speaker. So speaking is a well classified term that is reserved only for those who do proper communication in formal settings. I don't know if I've answered your question.
And I just want to add, in line with what you've been teaching us right now, I just want to add that another way to make our communication sound that will cause and promote, is to prepare for the meet, adequately prepared on read on the speakers, so material, so that if you're making contribution, it should be sound, a sound, and not off.
We just a present so elements, yeah, that you mentioned detailing. So any other question?
Yes, I'm there, Queen. Yes, like you said, in a confined setting, people are afraid to talk due to the language. They're afraid because they can make mistakes, they can or use wrong English. I always have these seminars during schools. We realize that when they call us to do presentations, because those mistakes or construct a wrong sentence or how you shout and they're giving corrections. So my question now is, when you make a mistake, do you realize, do you openly correct it or you just keep quiet? Or when the crowd gives the correction, do you take it? Because I realized a teacher once just openly said, if you think you can say it more than me, come up and do it like me. The whole was just like, oh, want to situation like that. No, read your sentence. Can you openly correct it or?
Well, okay, that question to what presentation and the others. Well, and bit of what we are. The first to know is that you have to be confident and not with what you say or what you're over some of your if you be people will that this is an error. They say it will be afraid to challenge you. I have a saying, or there is a saying by a Russian scholar, that any lie that is well spoken becomes a truth. I don't know if you get it. Any lie that is well spoken becomes a truth. Now, when we say well spoken, it means the manner in which you presented it. You presented in so much confidence, with so much confidence that even those who know the truth becomes afraid that no, the way the lady says this thing, maybe I'm the one that is having a wrong notion of this ideology. That is the first thing you need to know. Your confidence. When you come to give a talk, your confidence will cover some of your errors. In fact, there are people who will see the errors very well, but they will still be doubting if they are the ones who are wrong or you are the one who is wrong. Confident is things that are wrong. They will stay quiet. I'll give you an example. One time when I was in the university in Sweden, an expose, and I had a doubt about a particular article because I did law. I didn't know if that article, I was conflicting. If the article is Article 17, or let's say section, since we are Anglophone, if it's section 17 or section 7. So I was conflicting. While I was doing the presentation, I arrived at that level where I had to give the section. And now something started dribbling in my mind. And no, it's section 17. Another thing said, no, it's section 7. So while I was doubting, so let me just give So I said it boldly of this quote says this, that. Now I said it with a very bold. I was wrong. It was section 7. But do you know that there were classmates, my classmates, who knew that it was section 7, but they could not challenge me. They could not raise their finger to say, no, you're giving a wrong one. Boldness in which I said it. I said that a lie that is well spoken becomes a truth. I said a lie with some sort of boldness that they felt that their own notion, their own section 7 is inside the lie. It's inside the false one. So they stayed quiet. Even the lecturer himself could not identify that what the section I gave is wrong, because I said it with such boldness. I'm sure even him, he thought that his own is wrong. You know, immediately you give something a contrary, if a speaker gives something that is a contrary, information that is contrary, your mind will easily indicate to you that that is a wrong information. But now, what will cover or what will suppress you is the boldness in which the speaker second this, he could be right. I'm the one that is wrong. So when that class ended, some students came to me, said, but Max, I've been down. You said section 17. I wish to know because I have read. But each time my is it section 17 or 7? And I just that is section 7. I made a mistake. You say, I knew it. It's section 7. At that time, they felt that they were the ones who were wrong. No, this it cannot be wrong. How can he say it so confidently? So I'll go back to you by saying that a lie that is well spoken becomes a truth. I'll give another example. Do you know that most men, they flatter women? You know, many women like to be flattered. Is that correct? Many women like to be flattered, even though they know it's a lie. Somebody will tell you, a man will tell you that you are the most beautiful lady in the world. Is that true? That's not true. Because they might not have traveled up to 2 countries. So how are you sure that he's the most beautiful? But the issue is that the way he says it, it makes you feel that is the truth. It's a lie that is well spoken. So the way he says it with so much confidence, it makes you to believe that is the truth, that you are the most beautiful girl in the world. You are the most beautiful lady in the world. But that is a lie. He has even seen more beautiful girls than you, more beautiful. Just like you, a lady telling a man that he's the most handsome, and so on and so forth. So these are lies that people say in the society that have become said, in which they are being said. So if somebody tells you you are the most beautiful girl in the world, and that's a lie that he has said, and he has not even said it in a confidence. There's the confidence in which he says it does not back the lie. So you will definitely know it's lying. But if you look at you eyeballs to eyeballs and tell that you are the most beautiful girl in the world, you're the most beautiful lady in the world, you accept it. Though it's a lie, you accept it. So a lie that is well spoken becomes a truth. Now, that's the first thing you need to know when doing presentation. 2, when doing presentation, I'm talking about your case. You should know that everyone is still in the learning process. So humility counts. You should know that and not and you cannot acquire and the entirety of knowledge. In fact, we learn every day. 3, you should also know that there are people sitting under you that know some or have some informations even about your field that you might not yet come across. So you should acknowledge that. So when you acknowledge that, you will not find any difficulty with corrections. You will not find any difficulty with contributions. You will not find any difficulty with suggestions, but it depends on the way in which the person utilizes, or it depends on the method used to correct. There are some people, you should also know that in life, no matter what you do, there are some people who are there just to pull you down. So once you are conducting a public speaking or a presentation, there are some teachers in that your domain. There are some teachers that hated that teacher, that particular teacher. So they are just waiting to make on her and say, wow, our opportunity. So you need to also know that there are people like that are just waiting for you to make the slightest opportunity to bounce on you. Now, as a mature speaker, you have to understand, one, that you are not perfect. Two, nobody can have totality of knowledge in a particular field. So once you know that, you have to explain to them, thank you, madam, for your correction. Learning is a continuous process. That's all.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes. Never you take contributions, suggestions, corrections as a threat or as a competition. No. It's true that some people don't know how to communicate. Some people don't know how to contribute. They give their contribution as if they are hating you. They give their contribution as if they want to pull you, they want to humiliate you. Yes, somebody who wants to correct you say, madam, I cannot even imagine that you don't know this simple thing. This simple thing. Look at the way you said it. I cannot even imagine that you cannot pronounce this simple word, America. Look at you are pronouncing America. No, madam, that's not how they pronounce it. Now, yes, you say, okay, thank you, madam, for the correction. I'll work more on my accent. I'll work more on my pronunciation. Humility is also virtue, the way you communicate it. And now you should know that many people bumper, as they try, they attempt, they want to spoil your mood. So when you prove to them that you are stronger than them, they will be the one that will go back disgraced or ashamed. So somebody will come, instead of asking a very peaceful question, they will use it in a suppressive way. Now, the aim is to get you annoyed, is to get you vexed so that you can miss the other form or the other elements of your presentation. So what you have to do is, what you have to do is simply thank you very much. Your correction about pronunciation is something I am working on. And I promise you that next time I will do better. You get the point? Yeah, so corrections ought to be accepted because every speaker is a work in progress. There is no speaker that can say they know all. Nobody. It's only God that knows all. So you should accept that fact that you can be corrected. In fact, some of us who speak in seminars, than I'm an expert in my domain, but that doesn't change the fact that there are people here who may have attended a training somewhere from a higher speaker than me, who may want to chip in something, or who may want to even correct me on something. I have to accept that fact that people have experience more than me, more than you as a speaker or as you as a presenter. So you have to accept that fact and accept corrections in a very humble way. Is it okay? Do we still have time to go to the? Okay, yes, I can see Madame Mirabel has a question. Ask, please.
Okay. Good evening, sir, and good evening to everybody. So when you started talking about communication, you were talking of ERS, and was already in my head. obviously in communication there must be a feedback, but you said no, that we can only have that uh, and in communication, that communication, it's between two people. Somebody might make on what, and you might send a message to somebody on WhatsApp and the person blue ticks you, which simply means that you have communicated with that person. But then the person does not respond. So you just assume that that person has received your message. But I think that okay, what happens now when there are some people who have configured their phones in such a way that you don't get to see the blue tick, but they have received your message, but now you are not, you cannot know if they have received the message or not. So I am still that's why I still want to ask what is verbal communication and communication.
Our network is really disturbing.
I really want to know the role of feedback.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you done?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
I
did
can
you
hear you
hear
now.
me? Did you get my question?
I did. Are you done?
Okay. Yes.
All I said. I said that when a communication is defined as a transmission of information from one person to another, it suffices. Once you send information to another person and you are certain that the person has received it, I didn't say that you just send. No, I said that you are certain that the person has received it. It's communication. So the person does not need to respond. Now, I gave an example of blue tick. Blue tick is a way of ascertaining and receive a message or not. Now you are given other instances where the person may not have a blue tick, and that is where now doubt comes in. So you are not sure if the person has received it. So you may not conclude that you have communicated. So you can only confirm that you have communicated if you ascertain that the person has received the information. Now, concerning this Enam guy, this is what I asked him. I asked him simple, because he was still doubting just like you, because he said his lecturer taught them that communication must be responded. If it is not communication, then I told him that I have a book on communicated notes on Google, like some of the lecturers. So I'm taking excited. Now, I asked him a simple question, and I'll ask you people as well. If the announced communication, which we call communique in French, that all the students of this institution should come exceptionally on Saturday or should meet at the hall, the main hall on Saturday as from 7 a.m. The pays and say, oh, there's a meeting on Saturday, and they go. The question I ask to you is, they have not responded to that communique. Because respond to that communique would mean they write back to the director of ENAM. Hello, Mr. Director, we have received a correspondence now. We have received your communique saying, we the students have received your communique saying that there's a class and we'll be there. None of them will ever do that. Now the question is, has the director communicated?
Yeah.
Then it comes back. Very simple. So the student have not responded to his communique. They do not write him back. So, but he's sure that where he will post it, they will see the information. So once he's ascertained that they have seen the information, he has communicated. He doesn't need them to reply that communique. You get it? It's okay. So I said that you must be sure that the person has received the information before you conclude that you have communicated. If he has not yet received, you have not communicated. I don't get it. Yeah, you have not yet communicated. Now, I brought it another instance where, because maybe this is where the doubt is, where when you send someone a message and the person replies or responds to it, that is when you say it is communication. It is true, it is communication, but it is just a part of communication. It is just a form of communication, which is called dialogue. Now, you should know there are forms of communication. There is a difference between types. There are types of communication, there are forms, or let's say sub-forms. We have verbal, non-verbal, and written as the main form. Now, sub-form that monologue is when you are talking to yourself audibly. So now, more communication is still a part of communication, talking to himself. Or he comes, he's just talking to himself loudly. That's monologue. It's still communication because he has to do a transmission of information. Now we have dialogue, exchange of information from one person to another. So dialogue has to do with that exchange. Yeah. The person, but I still insist that communication generally is transmission of information from one person to another. Once the person receives it, you have communicated. But you have to be sure that the person has received it. Is it okay?
Receive. Yes.
Okay. Do we see chance of communication or it to tomorrow?
Maybe we have the ladies vote. A quick one, ladies. Can we respond by
I think it depends on people's schedules and time. So it's not really about voting, it's about them to see what time are we supposed to end the class.
It's indicating what I meant. The love and us come back tomorrow.
Okay, to have another class tomorrow?
Come back.
Or next class. Maybe next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Whatever you guys decide, I'm fine. I just wanted to make sure we are in line with schedule and what Coach D. So I'm good. Whatever. If it's not, maybe we can just get it.
The classes is so. It's so.
What do you all think?
Interesting.
Should we continue? Should we just continue?
You just continue. You just continue. It's so interesting.
I've counted 4, including myself already. If the other ladies are
I'm in.
Our voices
I'm in.
To me, I think we could just take
Yeah.
Yeah, so what has been decided?
I think
we should continue.
Yes. Maybe for the next 20. So
Is it 20 minutes, 30?
Yes, 10 to 20 minutes.
All right,
We'll
Okay.
be done. 10,
that'll
10 to
work.
20 minutes.
Uh,
20 minutes maximum.
That'll work.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm very
Mm.
okay.
Okay, now that was a general communication. Go to the specificity of communication, that is bringing it closer to leadership, which is the purpose of this training. Yeah. So is patient in leadership. Now, it is leadership. I don't want to go into that. So, if you know what is leadership, then this is it. Okay. So, becoming important in every aspect of leadership. And we know that we have diverse forms of leadership. You can be leading in a religious domain as a pastor, you can be leading in a teaching, in an educational domain as a principal, you can be leading in a domain, an author's leader, a youth leader, a political leader, a whatever dimension of lead, religious, economic leader, and so forth. Definitely I need communication. That becomes that for the to those you intend to work with, you will face difficulties. For money, they will be working will always film your subject, you based on financial, will ask that risking your job because you would then one day, I can assure you, have financial difficulty, and those members and those members who are relying on that financial benefit will quit. So to give, what you need to do is to your vision is clearly transmitted, is clearly explained leaders to your subject, to your subject. So they need to know what you're about to do. This church that we are starting, it is not about entertainment. It is about this company we are starting. We are out to reach out to the needy. We are out to do it. This organization that we are starting, we are out to do this. We are out, you explain your vision to them, and when you do it very, explain your vision. When you do it very well, and they start to working for the, so that when the salary is not paid salary for 2 months, which I'm not paid salary for 2 the company's CEO succeeded to pass across for the size, everybody will be fine.